Wars cost money, that's obvious enough. Multi-billion-dollar military-industrial complexes exist in almost every country. But are they always necessary? India has found one way to skirt exorbitant costs. Our next report getting you the details.
This is Arjun, a kite and a trained drone killer. During a training exercise with US troops, India unveiled its kite brigade. The majestic birds with their razor-sharp talons decimated drones during the training. Let's take a closer look at Arjun. It's equipped with a camera so the Indian forces can track its activities. That camera costs just $80. Now think about what other nations are doing to defend against drones, like using the Skywall bazooka, for instance. In 2021, the US put out a bid for similar ground-based aerial denial systems. And it had put up some cost requirements. Reports say the Pentagon wanted handheld ones to cost less than $37,000, or less than $15,000 for a general ground-based aerial denial system. This is from an official US government website. Let's focus on the lower figure, $15,000? In fact, even if that was an upper limit, how cheap could these be? Surely not $80. India employs both dogs and kites to carry out anti-drone operations. First, dogs hear the noise that drones make. They bark and sound an alarm. Indian troops then release the birds of prey. These kites take to the skies. Simple enough, right? And, like we mentioned, cheap as well. Remember, the cameras on their heads cost $80. And by the way, they're Chinese made. So all the R&D and manufacturing costs are borne by someone else. This is what's happening. India is building an anti-drone squadron, positioned on its border with China, while China is manufacturing the equipment required. This brings us to a bigger question. Is the military-industrial complex unable to see cheap and simple solutions, or are they just unwilling to? We aren't here to say that a $15,000 anti-drone defense unit will be less effective than a bird. But what about cost efficacy? Even if you look beyond the $80 per camera cost and take into account the cost to train and feed and house the birds and the dogs, how many squadrons do you think the US can raise in $15,000? Or indeed for $37,000 if you consider mobile ground-based aerial denial systems, like the anti-drone bazookas. The bazookas definitely look cool. They can be carried along easily during an offensive. But when it's between $37,000 and $80 to destroy drones, maybe it's time Americans started demanding more bang for their buck. Bureau Report, WION. World is One.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.